Students, let me make your friendship with your textbook. Let me take you to the journey of the English textbook, English Kumar Bharati Standard 10th. See how beautiful the cover page is. Now we will see the index of the English textbook. Children, there are total 190 pages in your textbook. The textbook is divided into 4 units. Every unit contains 6 lessons. The unique feature of the index is that in every unit, lesson number 1 and lesson number 4 are poems, rest are prose. For example, 1.1 and 1.4 are poems, 2.1 and 2.4, 3.1 and 3.4, and 4.1 and 4.4. These are poems, rest are prose. Total prose lessons are 16 and total poem lessons are 8. Students, today we are going to deal only with unit 1 and that too lesson number 1.1 where the mind is without fear. Now I will show you all the pages of the textbook which is related with 1.1. That is the poem that we are going to deal with from page number 2 to page number 6. Please have a look. Let us start with the first lesson of Unit 1, 1.1, Where the Mind is Without Fear by Rabindranath Tagore. Friends, Rabindranath Tagore was born in 1861 and he left us in 1941. He was the author of Gitanjali and its profoundly sensitive, fresh and beautiful verse. He became the first non-European to win the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1913. This poem is one of his vastly read and discussed poems. It was originally composed in Bengali and later he himself translated it into English. This poem is from his Nobel Prize winning anthology, Gitanjali. Tagore lived during the time when India was ruled by the Britishers. In this poem, besides political freedom from British, Tagore also appeals to God for social, educational and economic freedom for the people of India. Children, you would have seen the word verse. Here the meaning of verse is stanza. The meaning of vastly is greatly and anthology means a collection of poems. Extra information about the poet. The great poet Rabindranath Tagore's original surname is Thakur. Britishers were not able to pronounce his surname correctly, so they started calling him as Tagore. And since then, we started calling him as Tagore. He has written multiple novels, poems, short stories, travelogues, dramas, and more than 1000 songs. Some of his famous works are Sonar Tari, Gitanjali, and Balaka. These are poems. Raja, Dagghar, these are dramas. Gora, Nastanish, these are fictions. He has written this poem Where the Mind is Without Fear to encourage his countrymen to instill courage in their heart and mind. Warming up. Activity number 1. Pair up with your partner and match the terms with their given meaning. Friends, here you can see column A and column B. It is my request all of you will go through the column A and column B and try to guess your answers. We will see the correct answer in the next slide. Solution for activity number 1. Column A and column B. Question number 1. Humanism. Here the answer is option E. A rational outlook towards humans rather than a divine or supernatural one. Second, patriotism. Option is C. Quality of being patriotic, vigorous support for one's country. 3. Internationalism. Here the answer is option D. State or process of being international. 4. Liberalism. The answer is option B. Holding liberal views. 5. Environmentalism. Option A. Concern about the action aimed at protecting the environment. Warming up activity number 2. Poems in English are of different types. They are in the form of sonnet, limerick, ballad, elegy, free verse, epic, lyric, humorous, idyll. So here there are 9 questions. Friends, please go through all the 9 questions and try to guess the answers based on the options given above. We will see the solution in the next slide. Solution of activity number 2. First one, a long story poem, often mythical. Students, this is called epic. Second, a short poem with a message. It is a ballad. Third one, a poem of 14 lines. Of course, you are correct. It is a sonnet. Question number 4, a song-like poem, lyric. Question number 5, a poem with no uniformity or rhyme, rhythm, etc. Free verse. Question number 6, a poem set in picturesque rustic background, idyll. Question number 7, a sad poem lamenting death of a loved one, elegy. Question number 8, a 5-line short funny poem with rhyme scheme AABB, limerick. Question number 9, a poem written just to create humor, humorous. Students, the poem is made up of 11 lines. Let us go through the poem. All of you listen carefully. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the word has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into a dreary desert of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Students, you can see on the screen, I have numbered all the lines of the poem in serial order from line 1 to 11. It is my request that you are going to give serial number of the lines from 1 to 11. The reason is, when we will be discussing about the question answer session based on the poem, we will talk in terms of line. At that time, it will be of great help to us. Students, now we will see the explanation of the poem in terms of lines. First, we are moving on to line number 1 and 2. Here it is. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free. Now we will see the explanation of these 2 lines. This poem is a prayer. Here, poet is wishing a new India of his dream, a beautiful, brave, intelligent and progressive India. Line number 1, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, means the poet prays to God to give us India where people will be free from fear, such an India where people can raise their head high in pride. Now the second line, where knowledge is free. As you can see, the meaning of the line is crystal clear. Here the poet is wishing for a country where education will be free for one and all. Today, it is very relevant as we are having free and compulsory education in all the schools in India. Now line 3 and 4, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by a narrow domestic wall. Explanation of the same is as follows. In line number 3, where the world has not been broken up into fragments, the poet wishes India which will not be divided into groups by narrow domestic wall. Line number 4, by narrow domestic wall, says that the narrow domestic walls are the imaginary walls that divide the people of country in the name of caste, region, religion, language, etc. Students, we have come across 2 difficult words here. One is fragments. Fragments means pieces or parts. And the second difficult word we have come across is narrow domestic walls, which means division in the name of religion, caste, region, language, etc. Now let us move on to the next 2 lines, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection. Now let us have a look at the explanation of these 2 lines. Line number 5, where words come out from the depth of truth, means here the poet wishes India where honest and true words will come out of the deep layers of the heart of the people. Line number 6, where tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection. Here the poet says that each and every Indian living in free India will strive hard to achieve perfection in each and every sense. Students, here we have seen three difficult words. Tireless means non-stop. Striving means making efforts. Stretching its arms means aiming at achieving perfection. Next two lines are, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into dreary desert sand of dead habits. Let us have a look at the explanation of these two lines. In line number 7, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way, the poet wants India where, like clear water of stream, people will be clear in their thoughts and reasoning power. In line number 8, that is, into dreary desert sand of dead habit, here the poet says that the people of India will never fall prey to narrow dogmatism, will never follow any meaningless habit or habit that will harm others. It will be just like falling into a dreadful desert where we will hardly get anything useful and fruitful. We have seen a difficult word here, dead habit. Dead habit means old harmful rituals and customs. Now line number 9 and 10, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action. Let us have a look at the meaning of these two lines. In both the lines, line number 9 and 10, the poet is praying to God. In line number 9, where the mind is led forward by thee, here the poet is telling us that the mind of the people will be led forward towards success of all type by Almighty God. In line number 10, into ever-widening thought and action, the meaning of this line is, this will take all Indians forward, not only in terms of ever-widening thought, but also action. Students, here the hard word is ever-widening, which means broadening one's outlook forever. In the concluding line, that is line number 11, the poet is strongly praying to God to get a different type of India. He wants his countrymen to be awakened by God. The line is, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Let us have a look at the meaning of this line. In the last line, the poet concludes his prayer by saying that my Father, that is Almighty God, will help India to wake up with all its strength and attain the heaven of freedom. The difficult word here is heaven of freedom, which means best and total freedom. Students, now we will go through the questions given on the right hand side of your textbook. You can see there are 3 questions given on that particular page. All the 3 questions you can see in front of the screen. Even the entire poem is given above. I will be reading the questions one by one and I will give you time. You have to go through the passage and try to find out the answers for the same. Question number 1. What does the poet pray to Almighty God? Question number 2. What are reasons and dead habits compared to? Question number 3. What does the poet wish for? Students, please find out the answer. We will see the solution in the next slide. Now solutions. Question number 1. What does the poet pray to Almighty God? Students, you can see the answer is present from line number 9 to 11. The answer is, the poet is praying to God to lead all his countrymen forward into ever-widening thought and action. He even requests God to awaken all the people to attain the heaven of freedom. Question number 2. What are reasons and dead habits compared to? Answer is present in line number 8. The answer is, the dead habits are compared to dreary desert. Question number 3. What does the poet wish for? Actually, the answer is present from line 1 to 8. But you can select any 2 points for writing your answer. Even if you're including all the points, it's okay. The answer is as follows. The poet wishes for free India, where people will be free from all type of fears and will hold their head in pride. He even wishes India, where knowledge will be free for all, and a world which will not be divided by narrow domestic walls. I hope everybody would have got your answers correct. English workshop. Activity number 1. In your notebook, write down lines from the poem as a proof for the following. Students, here the question means one instance from the poem will be given. You have to pick out the line which supports it, means the line which has similar meaning to the one which is given in the question. For example, question number A. Tagore wishes for a nation where people are truthful. So now we have to pick out a line which has a similar meaning to question number A. Here the answer is line number 5, where words come out from the depth of truth. Friends, you can see here where words come out from the depth of the truth means nothing but Tagore's wish for the Indian people to be truthful. In the same way, we have to solve the other questions. Question number B. The poet would like everyone to work hard to reach their goal and in the long run to reach perfection. Answer is line number 6. Supporting line is line number 6, where tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection. Question number C. The poet wishes that everyone in the country holds his head high in dignity. Supporting line is line number 1, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. Question number D. The poet dreams of a nation where knowledge should be free for all. Answer is in the form of supporting line 2, where knowledge is free. Question number E. The poem is a prayer. Answer is supported by line number 9, 10, 11, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, and final line number 11, into that heaven of freedom, my father let my country awake. Activity number 2. Students, here we are coming across match the column. Please go through column A and B both and try to guess answers of all the questions. We will see the solution in the next slide. Here is the solution of activity number 2, column A and column B. Question number 1. The head is held high. Answer is option C, a person with self-respect and proud of possessing it. Question 2. Narrow domestic wall. Answer is option D, narrow-mindedness. Question 3. Knowledge is free. Answer is option E, education is given to all. Question number 4. Depth of truth. Answer is option B, sincerity of heart. Question number 5. Mind is without fear. Answer is option A, a fearless person. Question number 6. Stretches its arm. Answer is option H, aim at perfection. Question number 7. Clear stream of reason. Answer is option G, clear thinking. Question number 8. Dead habits. Answer is option F, dried infertile land of sand. Question number 9. Ever-widening thought and action. Answer is option I, broadening the outlook and attitude. Activity number 3A. Answer the following questions in your own words. Students, you can keep the poetry passage in front of you and you have to answer the questions given below. Question number A. How is the world broken into segments? Answer is present in line number 4. The answer is by narrow domestic walls. While writing the answer, please write in complete sentence. Question number B. Explain what the tireless striving should be for. Answer is present in line number 6. Answer is to achieve perfection. Question number C. Where come out from the depth of truth? Explain in your own words. Answer is present in line number 9. The answer is, here in free India, the poet Rabindranath Tagore hopes that the mind of the people will be led forward towards success of all type by Almighty God. Question number D. Who is thee in the poem? What does the poet appeal to thee to do? Answer. Thee means God. Line number 11 supports the answer. Here the poet concludes his prayer by saying that my Father, that is Almighty God, will help India to wake up with all its strength and attain the heaven of freedom. Finally, question number E. What qualities does the poet wish to inculcate in his countrymen? Answer is present from line number 1 to 8. The answer is, the poet wishes to inculcate in his countrymen the following qualities: to raise the mind of people out of fear, to spread free knowledge, not to divide the country by narrow domestic walls. Words should come from one's heart and people should be clear in their thoughts and reasoning. Activity number 3B. Write in your notebook your own responses and justify where needed. Students, again you are going to keep the textbook in front of you, the poetry passage in front of you, and you have to answer the questions given below. Question number A. Is the poem a freedom for India alone? Answer. Line number 3 is the supporting line. No, it is for the whole world. Question number B. What should the words we speak reflect? Answer. That the honest words are coming from the deep layers of heart. Supporting line is line number 5. Question number C. What should people keep on widening? How it can be done? Answer. People should keep on widening their thought and action. And this can be done if the mind is led forward by God. Question number D. From what darkness of night should our nation awaken? Answer. Fear. Society broken by narrow domestic wall. People without clear thought and reasoning. Dead habits. Question number E. What contributes of Rabindranath Tagore does the poet prayer reflect? Answer. The following qualities or attributes like patriotism, selflessness, spirituality, humanism, optimism are beautifully reflected in the poem. Final question, question number F. What effect does the repetition of the word where at the beginning of each line have? Answer. The repetition of the word where indicates the optimism of the poet and his confidence that after freedom we will get such an India where we will experience all positive things and action, and his complete faith in God who is going to help India in achieving it. Activity number 4. Read the following poem carefully and complete the table after the discussion in pairs. One is done for you. Students, first of all I will clear you all the 3 columns. Concepts given in the poem. You can see the 6 concepts given in the poem. Present situation. In the poem if we will see, the poem was written when India was ruled by the Britishers. So present situation means British period. And third column, expected, ideal situation. Here the poet is talking about India that we will achieve after freedom, means India after freedom. Please go through the columns and try to fill it. We will see the solution in the next slide. Solution for activity number 4. First one, mind. Mind is full of fear and fearless mind. Second, head. Held low and held high. Third, knowledge. Not free, free for all. 4. Words. Superficially spoken and spoken from deep layers of heart. 5th is habit. Dead and modern and reasonable. Lastly, 6th, thought and action. In present situation, it is outdated and not much related with each other. Whereas in an expected or ideal situation, we will write ever widening. Activity number 5A. Complete the following sentences using your own interpretation. Students, here you can write from the text or you can write from your own. Please go through all the questions from A to F. In the next slide, we will see the solution. Now, activity number 5B. Fill in the blanks. Please go through all the questions from A to E. We will see the solution in the next slide. Students, here we have come across one important word, psychophancy. Psychophancy means a person who tries to win favor by behaving differently and taking advantage of others. Please try to find out the answer. We will see the solution in the next slide. Solution of activity number 5A. Question number A. When the mind is without fear and the head unbowed, we enjoy dash freedom, heavenly or complete or real. All the options are correct. You can write any one. Question number B. When knowledge is free, every citizen enjoys the right to free and compulsory education. Question number C. We can prevent dash injustice when we pull down indiscriminatory wall of caste, class, religion, etc. Here the answer is social or all type of. Both the options are correct. Question number D. Constant effort and strife leads to dash perfection or achieving of our goals. Question number E. Logical thinking and reasoning can put a stop to dash dead habits or superstitions. Question number F. Tagore appeals to God to make his country a dash, heaven of freedom or self-sufficient country. Students, when I am giving two options, both the options are correct. You can write any one. Now, question number 5b, fill in the blanks. Question number A, students should help themselves aloof from dash, dead habits or narrow domestic works. Question number B, when dash, everyone will be literate, knowledge is free. Question number C, it is a social duty of every student of modern world to uproot narrow-mindedness from societies. Question number D, students must develop broad outlook and attitudes. Question number E, in the world of psychophancy, students must have self-respect. Activity number 6, find out example of metaphor from the poem. Please note, now we will see figure of speech of entire poem. Each line we are going to cover as far as figure of speech is concerned. Line number 1, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. Figure of speech alliteration, because sound W and H are repeated. Line 2, where knowledge is free. Figure of speech is paradox. It is a contradictory statement but true. Students, you know what is paradox? When a statement appears to be incorrect, but when we go into the depth of the sentence, we feel that it is correct. So initially it appears to be wrong, but finally we feel that it is correct. Such figure of speech is called paradox. Line number 3, where the world has not been broken up into fragments. Figure of speech alliteration. Here sound W and B are repeated. Line number 4, by narrow domestic walls. Figure of speech metaphor. Here narrow domestic walls are compared to all type of discrimination. Students, you know what is metaphor? Metaphor is a figure of speech in which two nouns are compared indirectly. Line number 5, where words come out from the depth of truth. Figure of speech alliteration. Sound W is repeated. Line number 6, where tireless striving stretches its arm towards perfection. Here the figure of speech is alliteration. Here sound S and T are repeated. The same line has another figure of speech also, that is personification. Here action, tireless striving is personified. Students, you know what is personification? When non-human figures are given human quality, the figure of speech is called as personification. Line number 7, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way. Here the figure of speech is metaphor. Here reason is compared to stream. Line number 8, into dreary desert, sand of dead habit. Here the figure of speech is alliteration. Sound D is repeated for poetic effect. The same line has another figure of speech also, that is metaphor. Here habit is compared to desert. Line number 9, where the mind is led forward by thee. Here the figure of speech is apostrophe. Here the poet is talking to God. Students, the figure of speech is apostrophe when the poet talks with someone who is absent. Here you can see the poet is talking to God, but is God present in front of him? No. Such type of figure of speech is called as apostrophe, when we talk with someone who is absent. Line number 10, into ever-widening thought and action. Here the figure of speech is hyperbole. It is an exaggerated statement. Line number 11, into that heaven of freedom, my father let my country awake. Here this line has two figures of speech. The first one is apostrophe. Here the poet is talking to God. And the second figure of speech is synecdoche. Here country, that is whole, stands for people of India, part. Students, you might be knowing the figure of speech synecdoche. When part stands for whole or the whole stands for part, the figure of speech is called synecdoche. For example, 50 eyes were staring at me. Here 50 I stand for 25 people. So here eyes which are part stand for people, that is whole. So the figure of speech is synecdoche. India was defeated by Australia. India here stands for the whole country, but India was defeated means the Indian cricket team was defeated. So here India, which is standing for whole, actually here India stands for the part, that is the Indian cricket team. So when the whole stands for part or the part stands for whole, the figure of speech is called as synecdoche. Activity number 7. Almost every line of the poem begins with the word where. and it expects the idealistic country and countrymen. Now work in pair of 6 students and compose your poem regarding ideal school. Begin your lines with the word where. Students, please note, here you can write the poem as per your own convenience and imagination. I have made an attempt to write a small poem for ideal school. Please listen. Where the mind is free from fear and narrow dogmatism, where we are trained to become better citizens, where teachers are ready to welcome us and we too are ready to respect them wholeheartedly, where groupism has no place, where democracy, brotherhood and secularism is the only rule. We all try to follow it all the time. Ideal school is the one which teaches us how to live our lives so that we can be disciplined like the bees in the hive, where there is no fear but love for homework. Let us take a vow today to become an ideal student, an ideal citizen. Activity number 8. Read the poem. Write an appreciation of the poem in about 8 to 10 sentences with the help of following points. Students, here 5 points are given. You have to write the appreciation based on these 5 points, and that too in paragraph format. You are not supposed to write them in points. The 5 expected things are title, poet, rhyming scheme, figure of speech, and the last one, theme and central idea. I will be reading the appreciation before you. Where the mind is without fear. The title of the poem is Where the Mind is Without Fear, and the poet is the great Nobel Prize winner Rabindranath Tagore. The poem has no rhyming scheme and it cannot be sung, hence it is a free verse. The figures of speech frequently used in the poem are alliteration. Example, where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. Metaphor. Example, into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. And apostrophe. Example, into the heaven of freedom, my father let my country awake. Second paragraph. In the first paragraph, students, I have covered the first 4 points, and in the second paragraph, I am focusing only on theme and central idea. So let us have a look at the second paragraph. The theme of the poem is Where the Mind is Without Fear is very appropriate, as the poet is hoping for a free India, where our mind will be free from all type of fear. The central idea of the poem, which is in the form of a prayer, is that we should be free from all type of narrow domestic walls, and everybody should work hard to achieve perfection. In the end, the poet requests God to awaken Indian people to attain the heaven of freedom. Activity number 9. Imagine that you have to deliver a speech on the occasion of Independence Day or the Republic Day in the school assembly. Prepare a speech to deliver on India of my dreams. Use the following steps. There are 6 steps given. Greeting and salutation, self-introduction, introduction of the topic, elaboration of the topic with example, conclusion, and finally thanking the audience. Now we will see the speech. Title of the speech is India of My Dreams. Good morning one and all present here, respected dais, teachers and my dear friends. Myself, Atul Satam of Standard 10th is standing before you in the school assembly to speak a few words on the topic India of My Dreams. Today on the occasion of Independence Day, I would like to greet all of you by saying Happy Independence Day. It was the dream of all our freedom fighters and our forefathers to get free India where the mind would be without fear. An India where people would be free from all type of narrow domestic walls. Even you would have thought about India of your dreams. Now my question is, have you got India of your dream? If you will ask this question to me, I will tell you without any hesitation that I haven't got India of my dreams yet. I want to see my India progressing in each and every field, maybe medical, engineering, agriculture or defense. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam had seen India of his dream, India as a superpower in 2020. Due to some reason, his dream did not materialize and he is no more with us. Otherwise, he would have been sad to see the current situation in India. It is my dream to see each and every Indian happy, to eradicate social evils like corruption, superstition, pollution, unemployment, illiteracy, etc. I hope In my lifetime, I will be definitely able to see India of my dreams. Thank you for lending your ears and patiently hearing to me. God bless all of you. Thank you. Students, today we have covered each and every detail of the poem 1.1, Where the Mind is Without Fear, written by Rabindranath Tagore. We have not covered question number 10. Question number 10, so you are supposed to do it on your own. You can refer few books from your school library, or you can pay visit to the internet. Thank you, students. Hope everybody would have enjoyed today's session. Please stay tuned for the coming new lessons of English higher level. Please like and subscribe our channel. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.